Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic Hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the series premiere of Star Wars Ahsoka. It was a 2-episode premiere, and the first episode was called Master and Apprentice. As it starts, the Ray Stevenson character named Baylan and a lady who I don't think we got the name of dock with a New Republic ship to take back a prisoner that Ahsoka had turned over to them. And they kill some folks. Ahsoka enters an underground temple elsewhere and opens a mural, causing an orb to be revealed from the floor, and she takes it. The orb, of course, is a map that she's been looking for to figure out where General Thrawn is. And she learned of the location of this map orb from the prisoner that she had turned over to the Republic ship, which is now in the hands of Baylan and his apprentice. On her way back to her ship, she's ambushed by 5 droids with electric-y light-up sticky things, and she has to fight them. But at a certain point, after she takes a couple of them out, the remaining droids initiate a self-destruct protocol to try to kill her so that at least she won't be able to use the orb if they can't get it back from her. And she has to run to her ship and jump onto the ramp as it's still flying, because the explosion that the droids initiated was humongous, ginormous, large, and it was just huge. It didn't look from the size of the explosives that they were carrying that it would be that big, but it was enormous. Anyway, soon she and her droid pilot, Hyuga, played by David Tennant, regroup with part of the New Republic fleet and meet up with Hera. It turns out that the map orb can't be opened without a key, and Hera suggests that Ahsoka seek out Sabine to get help opening it, though she thinks it's possible Sabine won't want to help. Sabine, of course, a character from Rebels along with Hera. Speaking of Sabine on Lothal, she's a no-show at a ceremony honoring Ezra Bridger, who of course was the star of Rebels, and the people who helped free Lothal from the Empire. And the governor character, now played in live action by Clancy Brown, is not happy about this. It turns out that she's riding around on a flying rocket speeder thing, listening to some really rad music, and she ends up being approached by security forces that want to bring her to the ceremony, but she declines to acquiesce to their polite request and sets herself up on a collision course with one of the 2 security ships that was blocking her path, but she slides under it, as we saw in the trailer. And then the other security ship just flies off and lets her go after kind of giving her a knowing nod. She returns to the Lothal Tower that we always saw in Rebels and feeds one of those weird little loth cats or whatever before playing a holo recording of Ezra in which he explains why he took off, which he says is because it's what he needed to do as a Jedi. Back at the site of the previously mentioned explosion, Baylan and his lady friend and Morgan, the prisoner that they liberated from the New Republic ship, who, by the way, is a Night Sister, show up to survey the scene and realize that Ahsoka must have the map orb, and the lady friend is sent to Lothal to find Sabine, since she is Ahsoka's former Padawan, and Baylan figures that's probably where Ahsoka went. Meanwhile, on Lothal, Ahsoka and Sabine see each other for the first time in a long time. Ahsoka tells her that she thinks she knows how to find Ezra because I guess she figures he'll be wherever Thrawn is, or on Thrawn's trail anyway. Clearly, there's some tension between the two, which apparently stems from the fact that Ahsoka walked away from Sabine instead of continuing to train her in the Force. Next, we learn that Ahsoka's droid Huyang, who apparently used to instruct younglings on how to construct lightsabers and who's been around for 500 years, has looked at a scan of Baylan and his lady friend from the attack on the Republic ship, and after examining the hilts of their lightsabers, realized who Baylan is, but not who the lady friend is. Speaking of analyzing scans, while analyzing the scan of the temple where the map orb was found, Sabine determines how to open it, and it projects a map of a particular star system. She's then attacked by a couple of those freaky droids from whom she manages to escape, only to find, after retrieving the lightsaber that Ezra left her, that the lady friend has the map orb, and a duel ensues. Fortunately, she had signaled to Huyang, and he flies Ahsoka to the tower. As the fight continues, the lady companion person runs Sabine through, but somehow she doesn't die, which is really good. And that's where episode 1 ended. Episode 2 was called Toil and Trouble, and as it begins, Sabine wakes in a medical bay and explains to Ahsoka what happened and that she couldn't fully decipher where the map pointed to, only that it was another galaxy to which a pathway exists, starting in their galaxy somewhere. As Ahsoka goes to leave, Sabine tells her that she needs her help, but Ahsoka says, "No, you've done enough." Balin and his lady friend arrive on a planet where there seems to be some type of device that the map orb fits into. Ahsoka, meanwhile, goes to Lothal Tower and listens to what I would have to describe as force echoes of the conversation between Sabine and the lady person. She finds the recording of Ezra, and while she's playing it, she's ambushed from the ceiling by one of the droids, which apparently she suspected might still be there. She takes the head of the droid to Sabine, who figures out she can retrieve its memory to figure out where it came from, and it turns out that it came from the New Republic shipyard on Corellia. We then see that Balin gets Morgan to open the map orb, and she's able to make the map ginormous and to form a big dome over the space they're standing in. Apparently, where they're going, where Thrawn is called the Path to Peridia. At the shipyard, Hera tries to convince Ahsoka to take Sabine back on as her apprentice, but Ahsoka rebuffs the idea. Hyuga urges Sabine to seek to begin her training again with Ahsoka, but Sabine figures Ahsoka won't want to teach her anymore. While investigating things at the shipyard, it becomes apparent that Imperial loyalists are up to some shenanigans, and Ahsoka and Hera have to take them out before chasing a departing ship that they imagine has some information they need aboard it. At which point, Ahsoka is confronted by one of those droids and an apparent Inquisitor after jumping out a window to try to catch the ship, but not managing to, leaving it to Hera to try to force the ship to land from the Phantom, which of course it doesn't do, leading to a bit of a dogfight, which seems to worry Chopper. Chopper! Not managing to get it to land, Sabine instructs Chopper to toss a tracking device onto it, and he manages to do that. She then returns to the tower and retrieves her Mandalorian armor before cutting her hair, at which point she calls Ahsoka and tells her that she's ready. She then goes to visit the mural that I think we saw at the end of Rebels with the whole cast of the show painted on it, and affectionately caresses Ezra's face in the image, which I found interesting because I remember him kind of having a thing for her, but I don't remember her reciprocating that. So beyond, caring for him as a fellow teammate and everything, she didn't really have any feelings for him. But it would seem now that maybe she does. I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading what it means that she stroked his face on the image, but yeah, I found that interesting. Anyway, Ahsoka arrives at the mural and picks her up, at which point they're informed by Hyuga of the location of the ship that Hera tracked, and the two of them, now master and apprentice, once again, set out for that destination. Apparently, Balin, Morgan, and the lady person are building something in space called the Eye of Sion, which they're going to use to retrieve Thrawn from his exile in the other galaxy. And I guess he was taken there by those space whale things. Is that what happened at the end of Rebels? He was grabbed by some creatures, and I think it was the space whales. Anyway, before the episode ends, Balin says that he's convinced that Ahsoka is on her way there, and he laments that it will be a shame to kill her since there's so few Jedi left, which again was interesting because he says he's not a Jedi, and he clearly is opposed to the Jedi who are on the opposite side of Thrawn, what Jedi exist, that is, yet he seems sad over the idea of killing yet another Jedi, which I don't understand that. I mean, I guess in a way you could feel bad about it, but if he does, then why, like if he's sympathetic to the Jedi, why is he on the opposite side? I didn't understand that. And anyway, Ahsoka's not really a Jedi anymore. She's a force-wielding individual. Anyway, that's where the second episode and the premiere ended. So I did like the premiere, but I have to say I wasn't wowed by it. There wasn't anything in it that wowed me or that blew me away. It was just kind of there, which for me is fine. I don't mind shows like that. I know that not everybody feels the same way. They want it to be great. They want to be wowed by it. They feel let down if it's not somehow awesome. But I didn't feel let down. I just found it odd that all this anticipation is built up for the show, and it was kind of just there. Nothing really great happened. But like I said, I did like it. And I think that's largely due to the fact that I really, really enjoyed Rebels. And I was happy to see Sabine and Hera and Chopper. And, I was really also a fan of the Clone Wars animated series, so and the Ahsoka character particularly. So I was glad to see her, of course, and seeing them all together again, was really cool, and it just felt like a continuation of Rebels, which, as I said, I really, really enjoyed. So I was happy with it. I do hope, however, that it gets a little more intense as it goes along. There are only 4 episodes left at this point. And that's not to say that the action scenes weren't great. They were. That explosion was crazy, and the fight scenes, that Ahsoka had were really well done. And even the one with Sabine was good. So that was excellent. And I think Ray Stevenson, who unfortunately passed away after shooting these 6 episodes, was really good. I think the Balin character is interesting. So I'm interested to see more about them and to learn more about their backstory, because of course he was once a Jedi and his lady friend I don't think was, but we'll find out. And the prospect of Thrawn is what's really got me looking forward to the rest of this series, because he in Rebels was just a menacing, creepy, scary dude, and the guy who did his voice is playing him in live action now, and so that's just going to be crazy. I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I don't understand though is what the big deal is. Like, in other words, I know why Ahsoka and whatnot want to find him and keep him from coming back to power, because he was ruthless and just cutthroat, and people were super loyal to him, and it would be really bad if he were to come back and lead the Imperial loyalists in a bid to take back control of the galaxy. But why Balin and those folks are so keen to get him back, I don't know. I mean, I guess for the same reason, because he would make a great leader and everything, but it's not like he has special powers. It's not like in, for example, The Force Awakens, the reason they were trying to get to Luke, because he was very powerful in the Force and, could really make a difference in fighting the New Order. I mean, I guess they could feel the same way about Thrawn, but I don't think he's special in the same way that Luke is special. Like, in other words, it wouldn't be hard to find another cutthroat, calculating, brutal kind of person to lead the Imperial loyalists in the same way that he did, and that people could rally around, especially if he said the same kinds of things that Thrawn said and did the same kinds of things that Thrawn did. I mean, I guess they said he's the last of the Grand Admirals, but I mean, is there no one that could sort of do what he did? Like, why are they trying so hard to get him back? I don't know. Maybe they're just loyal to him and they're trying to rescue him from whatever his fate was. But it seems like more than that, and I don't really understand. Maybe that'll become apparent as the episodes go on. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I thought it was pretty good. The performances were good, and it was really great to see Chopper. I hope we get to see Zeb. We saw him in The Mandalorian, but I wonder if he's going to show up on this show, and I wonder if we're going to see Ezra by the end. That would be interesting. I should say as well that I thought the show looked really great. I mean, just fantastic. And David Tennant, I think, is great as Hyuga, and you totally can't tell that that's CGI. So that's good. And yeah, I think it's off to a good start. I didn't think it was anything special. It didn't blow me away, but I certainly didn't find any real faults with it. And I think the show is off to a good start, and I'm looking forward to next week. So for now, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back to review the next episode once it's released. Until then, may the force be with you.